did not defy his.
Good morning and welcome to the WSJM Morning Show video live stream. I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me this morning is Mike Weibel.
Good morning, Ken.
Hello, Mike. How are you?
I'm good.
Let's see. Okay. Flaps are down. Engines are on. We're ready for takeoff.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, let's do this. We've got, it's March 21st. If you're playing the brackets, you know, anyone who knows I don't know much about sports. I mean, I know enough to be dangerous.
Right.
Maybe not that much. But I do enjoy putting the brackets together.
Yeah.
Because it's a nice reminder, hey, there are schools I haven't even heard about across the country.
Yes, there are.
And they've done well enough this year to get into the basketball thing. And so McNeese is one of those.
Yep.
We decided they were from Louisiana.
Yes.
And their mascot is what? The cowboy?
The Cowboys.
The Cowboys. Okay. And they beat who? They beat somebody.
Tennessee, I believe.
Oh, okay. So March Madness continues. Let's see, McNeese. They beat Clemson University.
Oh, Clemson.
Yeah, Clemson University.
It was Creighton that beat Tennessee.
That's right. And Drake that beat Missouri. And basically what we're looking at is fewer than 1% of brackets out there still good. And that's why they call it the March Madness. That's why people really enjoy it. But, I mean, you can't get too much madness because then are you watching the basketball games if you don't know any of the teams or you don't support any of the teams?
Right. Well, it's all about your bracket. So
it's all about the bracket?
Yeah, because if you're, the team that you don't know wins, then all of a sudden now you start to learn about them.
Oh, there you go.
Because they follow through the bracket.
Okay.
You know, there's a couple of them over the years that have made it into like the Sweet 16 that before that you never even knew that there was such a thing.
Yeah. So we're doing both the men's bracket and the women's bracket in our little challenge.
Yes.
And so I'm curious to see how we're doing comparatively.
How are you? What's your...
Don't even ask. I don't know.
Oh.
I mean, I've got it in my drawer.
Okay.
And if you asked me to fill out the bracket, I would fill it out a different time every time, a different way every time.
Fair enough.
Because at one point I was doing, let's pick all top seeds.
Right.
Okay, let's see. Updates are coming around 7. Brett, what is the deal with the brackets? Why isn't he giving us an update?
He decided to release no information until it's time.
Okay. I'm just going to text back one question. Why? Why? All right. Good morning, Bill. Good morning, Diane. Hello. Happy week. I'm ready for the weekend.
I know.
You doing anything fun this weekend?
It's my father-in-law's family birthday party.
Oh, that's right. We need to talk about that. We'll talk about that on the air here. Remind me.
Okay.
We've got to get to news here, so we'll do that in just a moment. We'll talk about the centenarian.
Yes.
Centenarian?
That at least.
He's 100 years old, Nikolaus.
Yep.
Okay.
100 years.
What kind of cake?
Days. It is.
His actual birthday was a Wednesday.
Right. It's a bit of Swiss cake, and I don't know what my wife got.
Wednesday was his actual birthday. What cake did you give him Wednesday?
Oh, he didn't have cake Wednesday. He went to breakfast.
Clock. All right, back in a minute.
With our bad credit,
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
when you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
7:05, it's the WSJM Morning Show for Friday, March 21st, that is. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me this morning is Mike Weibel. We have 30 degrees out in Benton Harbor right now, 31 in St. Joseph, 30 in South Haven, 27 in Dowagiac. The feels-like temperature, though, is a bit colder. In South Haven, for instance, it feels like it's 19. Benton Harbor feels like 20, and St. Joseph feels like 20 degrees. Still warmer than yesterday. Yesterday was nasty.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. First day of spring, first official day of spring, and it was windy and cold and snowy.
I think Mother Nature decided the way to get rid of winter was to sandblast it.
Yeah, sandblast it away. Yeah, because we have that wind, and so the forecast for today, it's going to be windy. Windy today, tonight, tomorrow, and we're going to have partly sunny skies today, a high around 53 degrees. The winds are going to gust to 30 miles per hour out of the southwest. Tonight's forecast, mostly cloudy, a chance of evening rain, then turning to snow overnight. A low overnight around 34. South winds gusting to 30. Saturday's forecast, 30% chance of rain, snow early, then becoming partly sunny, a high around 37. It's going to get a little bit warmer on Sunday, a high around 47, and then Monday, a high around 40. So it's just a bit of a roller coaster. Be ready for that. Some of the news that we're following from the WSJM newsroom this morning, it's refueling time again. Unit 1 of the Cook Nuclear Power Plant in Bridgman will be taken offline at 3 a.m. tomorrow morning to begin its 30-second refueling outage. Cook plant spokesperson Joe Callahan tells us each of the plant's 2 reactors has to be shut down every 18 months for refueling. During that time, crews also perform a variety of maintenance jobs that can't be done when the reactor is fully powered.
One of the large tasks that we'll be performing during this outage, and we usually do them at nearly every outage we have, is the replacement of the motor on our reactor cooling pumps. So the reactor cooling pump is a critical part, a critical component, and it's responsible for circulating the primary coolant through the reactor core.
Callahan says the refueling outages require extra staff that come in, often from out of town, to perform these tasks during the first few months that the reactor is offline.
They've been on site for quite a while now, so we have about 1,000 or so additional contract workers here on site at Cook that are assisting our regular plant staff with this refueling outage.
The other jobs to be done during the refueling outage include inspection and maintenance activities related to the main turbine and generator and replacing important battery systems. During the outage, they say around 12,500 maintenance, inspection, and equipment modification jobs, totaling 179,000 work hours, are scheduled for 2 daily 12-hour work shifts. That's a lot of work.
It is.
I mean, it's a spreadsheet basically with 12,500 things to do.
Right.
Here's your to-do checklist. A lot of it has to be done before the next one. Callahan says Unit 2 will remain at full power throughout the outage and will meet the grid's needs while the refueling is happening. For competitive reasons, Cook says it can't release when the refueling outage will be over. Yeah, competitive reasons. People are watching.
That's right.
Yeah. Other news from the WSJM newsroom. Berrien County has received bids for the demolition of the former Modern Plastics building in Benton Harbor, but they are going to require some careful review. Speaking to colleagues on Thursday, Berrien County Commissioner John Hinkleman said the County Finance Committee opened the bids this week.
There were 9 bids on the demolition of Modern Plastics. There is a $2.2 million deviation between those bids, and so it's large. And so we gave that back to Community Development and the Land Bank. They will look those over to make sure, except of course the lowest bid that meets the specs. But there is a large deviation.
The county has secured $2.6 million to pay for the demolition of the building. It's at 489 North Shore Drive. The funds came from the Michigan Land Bank Authority. Berrien County last year sold the site to Harbor Shores, but the county is still working to clean it up. Harbor Shores told us last year it's reviewing options for development of the property. Once a review of the bids is done, the Finance Committee will come back to the full County Board of Commissioners with a recommendation on which contract to approve. I bet they demolish that probably sometime this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they have to do it carefully because of all the high likelihood of contamination throughout that area.
Environmental repercussions.
Yeah, all that stuff for Ox Creek, etc. Other news, the city of South Haven has hired a new police chief following a 1-month-long search. And on Thursday, the city announced that Dennis Honholt has accepted the position of chief of police. Honholt, who is currently the chief of police and director of public safety in Dover, Tennessee, brings 31 years of law enforcement experience. He was born and raised in Hudsonville, Michigan, and he graduated from the Southeastern Leadership Academy, holds associate degree in criminal justice, and he previously served as a detective with the Clarksville Police Department, as deputy sheriff and court officer for the 60th District Court, and as an investigator with the United States Investigative Service, among other positions. He'll start his tenure in South Haven on April 1st. He replaces Kevin Swope, who stepped down last month after serving, it's probably about 30, 90, About 90 days in the office. That's a look at some of the news that we have from the WSJM newsroom. We have more to talk about this hour. We will talk about goldfish.
Yeah.
Not the kind that you get in the little cracker bags.
No.
But the kind that you're supposed to keep in your fish bowl.
Yes.
And if you don't, you got a big problem.
Yes,
Literally a big problem. So we'll talk about that. Well, we should also talk about Nicholas because is it Nicholas or Nicolaus?
Nicolaus.
Nicolaus. We'll talk about Nicolaus, Mike's father-in-law, who turned 100 this week.
100 on Wednesday.
Congratulations, Nicolaus. So we'll have that and more coming up right here on the WSJM Morning Show at 7:11. We've got sports right now with Dave Wolf.
Vlad Golan hit a pair of free throws.
That is so great. So Wednesday was his actual birthday. You
Yes.
didn't give him cake on Wednesday.
No, he didn't want cake.
Oh, he didn't want cake
No.
on Wednesday.
No.
Did he have any dessert on Wednesday?
He did not. He went to Joe's for breakfast.
What are you, the
Mr.
Taliban or something? Why are
and
you
Mr. Goodies
torturing
for
him?
lunch.
Give him
He
dessert.
gets to go where he wants.
Give him cake.
My daughter came down from.
I'm going to have a little sign. I'm going to protest. Give him cake.
Give him cake. Let him eat cake.
All right. So Wednesday they had lunch.
He had breakfast at Joe's.
Okay.
That's his favorite breakfast spot.
Nice.
And then he had lunch at Mr. Goodies
Oh, okay.
because that's one of his favorite lunch spots.
Fantastic. And so this weekend is the big festivity,
Yes.
the official celebration.
The
Tell us
official
about
family celebration. It is Saturday, and we got about 34 family members coming in from Canada and Chicago. And
that. The visual on that, we've got about 34 family members coming in.
So yeah, they're all coming in, and we're having a celebration at Harbor Shores.
Oh,
and
very nice.
Have lunch and
Will there be golfing involved?
no golfing.
Any
Supposed to
putting?
be- Any cutting?
Putting.
Oh,
Putting.
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 No, because it's supposed to be raining. You
Oh,
the
that's right.
weather's-
Yeah, it is going to rain.
Yeah. So
You could do indoor putting.
no, but we'll do. Last year he obviously had his 99th. This time.
Wait,
of year.
wait, what? He turned 99 last
did,
year, and this
he
year he's
did.
turning 100?
I know. Shocking. But there wasn't very many photos taken. And I was like, how are we not taking photos? Because we don't know we're going to have you don't know.
Who wasn't taking photos?
Everybody was just so into the party itself. We had a food truck come to our house, and it was a
Okay.
big deal.
Okay.
So this year I'm setting up a tripod and setting him in a chair, and everybody can do their.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it like a throne?
Yeah. It'll be a throne.
That'll be cool.
The Nicolaus.
What about physical gifts? What about gifts?
He doesn't want any gifts.
Too bad.
Well, last year we had like 80 people come last year for his party.
Okay.
Got a lot of gifts, and he gave probably 95% of those away to people as they left.
As they left?
Yeah, so people
Here,
would
you
give him a
take
gift,
this
and he
with
would
you.
be like, "Oh, they're like, oh, that's nice. You like this plant? Yeah. Well, here, take it with you." But if you go to Mr. Goodies, by the cash register, you'll see a painting. Well, that is a painting that Nick did and gave to Andy, the owner, last year. And so he hung it up in the restaurant there. And so
that's so nice.
Yeah.
That's so nice. Did he share any nuggets of secret to living to 100 or anything like that?
He has not. He's been
keeping that close hold.
Yeah. Been waiting to try to get some good information from him on those types of things. And so far, he has not been in the mood to do that. He just kind of. But I think tonight, because the kids will start coming home tonight.
Yeah.
And he gets excited, and then you can run some video on him. And I've got 2 or 3 videos on my phone of when he gets in that mood, and he'll start telling stories about how he grew up and some of his struggles and things that happened to him. Okay. And it's just, and you just let him go, and that's cool.
That's excellent. Okay. Well, good. Well, enjoy the birthday festivities this weekend. That sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah. All right. It's 7:14. We've got to get back to the show here. Let's see. What else should we talk about this morning? We'll talk about your goldfish. I love that. And speaking of goldfish, I mean, it's basically a cautionary tale.
Yes.
Don't throw your goldfish in the wrong pond.
No, exactly.
We'll talk. Well, we mentioned this. We'll talk a little bit more about Mariah Carey and the "All I Want for Christmas Is You" case. Mm-hmm. And what else do we have to talk about? Oh, some airplane stuff. We'll talk more about some airplane stuff. I know Heathrow's happening, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But the NTSB, they're getting a lot more busy, and that's not good.
No.
That's not a good thing if you're an air traveler. So all those things and more coming up in just a moment. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Let's see. Bill says high limits sprint cars, short track, Super Series modified. That's what's going on this weekend. That sounds fun. That sounds a lot of fun. Diane says congratulations to your dad. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, back in a moment.
Mostly sunny skies today. Afternoon temperatures get up around 50 degrees. It will still be quite breezy across the area. The clouds will increase this evening, and overnight tonight we're back to cloudy skies and a chance of rain. We eventually drop down to 34. Saturday morning we see a chance of snow, then sun in the afternoon, but a high of only 37. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:16 WSJM Morning Show continues. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg, and here with me, Mike Weibel. And that's 2 out of the 4 people. We found out we have 4 people in our bracket challenge.
Yeah.
Couldn't get anybody else interested. But let's see. So I'm in it. Mike is in it. Brett Witkowski, and then Sean Robinson from the WSJM Newsroom is in it. And we have our brackets. They are not perfect.
No.
They are not perfect
Not
anymore.
by any means.
In the men's standings, what's the scoring thing he's talking about? 14, 14, 12, 11. Those are points. What do you get points for?
You get points.
How many correct guesses you get?
Yeah.
Okay. So Brett's at 14, Sean's at 14, I'm at 12, and I'm sorry, Mike, you're at 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm still
just
winning.
warming up. I'm warming up.
I'm still winning. I think Brett copied Sean's bracket because they've had tied scores for this whole thing. In the women's bracket standings, let's see, Brett and Mike and myself, we're all tied at 2 games apiece, and Sean with 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, very good. All right. That's I hope your bracket is performing well. And again, fewer than 1% of brackets out there estimated to be perfect still, or potentially perfect.
Yeah.
Because of the upsets that happened yesterday. I love that there are upsets.
Oh, yeah. That's
part of the deal.
Yeah.
That's part of the deal. Not part of the deal when you take a goldfish home and you throw it away.
Yes.
But maybe because you're kind to humanity and animals and all that other stuff, you decide, well, I want to throw it somewhere where it can live its life in freedom, in the pond, enjoy the big world out there. Mm-hmm. And then bad things happen. So, Mike, you found something about goldfish you wanted to share.
Yeah, so I guess the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is asking people not to put their goldfish in the wild.
Stop doing that.
Right.
Stop putting your goldfish in the wild.
So because of goldfish normally grow to the size of their tank.
Oh, okay.
So if you got them in a bowl, they get so big, and then that's it. Well, when you put them in a lake, obviously that throws the borders out of that.
But how big could they possibly get?
Well, there was the record goldfish was caught, and it was 67 pounds, 4 ounces.
A 67-pound, 4-ounce goldfish.
Yeah. It's a whopper. They call it the carrot.
Oh, my gosh. You showed me a picture of this.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I guess I glossed over how much it actually weighed. But the thing, it looks just like a goldfish that would be in your bowl,
right.
Except it takes a guy's full arms to, like, hold it up.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the thing just looks like a huge – it looks like it's faked, but it's not. And they say obviously the damage – just a true goldfish will grow to be about 4 pounds.
Okay.
But they hybrid with carp because they're in the carp family.
Yeah. And
that's when things go off the rails.
Oh, that does sound bad. So, yeah, because I've always thought of goldfish as just being pretty carp,
Yeah.
But so are they breeding after they get into the ecosystem?
Yes, yeah.
And that's causing the huge monster fish.
Right.
Okay.
So it's like Frankenfish.
Goldenfish. So the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service saying,
don't do it.
Stop doing this.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Should you flush your goldfish down the toilet?
I wouldn't necessarily recommend that because that seems to be a pretty dismal.
You know what you can do is you can make up a pot of rice. And maybe even put a little bit of white wine vinegar in there and a little bit of sugar, make kind of some sticky rice, put a little mold on it, and then put the goldfish on top of that and eat it. Yeah. Sushi.
I went to high school with a guy who held his fraternity record for the most live goldfish consumed.
Why would you do that?
Because he was David Hagenauer.
Did he grow up in the 1950s?
David used to do just whatever he could do for, like on Fridays, he would be like, hey, how much you give me to staple my hand?
Oh, goodness gracious.
And he'd be like, what? And he goes, $5. I'm like, no. All right, $1. And he'd take one and then bam, and put a staple in his hand. And
they have a term for that. I think it's clinically insane.
Yeah. It was his beer money. It's his way to get beer money.
Oh, okay. Motivated. That's what the word is.
Yeah.
All right. Other things that were motivated by money. A federal judge in Los Angeles has sided with collective sigh of relief. A judge has sided with Mariah Carey.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank goodness.
In a lawsuit alleging that she illegally copied elements of her holiday classic, All I Want for Christmas Is You, from a song of the same name that was released 3 years prior. Andy Stone is a Louisiana songwriter. He professionally goes by the name Vince Vance. Great name, Vince Vance. Vince Vance. He and Tennessee he and Tennessee native Troy Powers claim they wrote All I Want for Christmas Is You in 1988 and released it in 1989. Carey released her mega hit just ahead of the 1994 holiday season, which has since received routine mass popularity every year. Now, on November 1st, back in 2023, Vince Vance and his friends filed a $20 million lawsuit against Mariah Carey and her co-writer and Sony Music Entertainment, alleging that Carey's song copied melodies, lyrics, and other musical elements, including the song's extended comparison between a loved one and trappings of seasonal luxury.
Seasonal luxury.
An extended comparison between a loved one and trappings of seasonal luxury. Wouldn't that be the whole partridge in a pear tree thing?
Yeah, pretty much.
Why didn't they sue them? However,
Next month.
Because they weren't, making millions, hundreds of millions of dollars off the Christmas song. However, U.S. District Judge Monica Alamati ruled this week that music experts could not prove enough objective similarity between the two songs through what's called an extrinsic test. I mean, honestly, I'm very familiar with the Mariah Carey song. Who isn't?
Right.
So I went back and I listened to the Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn, is that right? No, Vince Vance.
Yeah.
Vince Vance.
Vince Vaughn's the actor.
Vince Vaughn is the funny actor, yeah. Anyway, so the All I Want for Christmas Is You thing from Vince Vance, it's ridiculous. It's horrible. Yeah, no.
Not even close.
I don't hear it. And that's, there's no similarity.
I mean, if they wrote All I Want for Christmas Is My Two Front Teeth, and they argued that she put you in the place, okay. I mean, I could see that, but
yeah.
But that's not, no.
But again, the attorney who represented Stone and Powers called the Wednesday ruling a disappointment, adding that most music copyright cases meet a similar outcome. He said his client is considering bringing the litigation to circuit court over the next week or so. So, yeah, summary judgment. Mariah Carey, go away. You're fine. People here, they should charge them, honestly. Money for the court costs or that kind of thing.
Right.
Because it seems, I don't know, it probably isn't frivolous by any legal definition, but if you listen to those two songs back to back, there's no similarity.
No.
There just seems to be no similarity other than the name of the song.
Yeah. I mean, and even that is, pretty abstract.
Pretty common.
Right.
Okay. Other stuff. Let's see. There's a Southwest Airlines flight. Oh, this one. So, again, we scratch our heads and we wonder, why in the world are we seeing all these flight incidents? We still don't have an answer as to why that's happening. But there was a Southwest Airlines flight that nearly took off from a taxiway yesterday.
What?
The plane was on a taxiway, not on a runway. You've been on an airplane before.
Sure.
You've looked at, have you had a window seat?
Yep.
You look out the window, you kind of see the difference between a taxiway and a runway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
somebody just had a moment where they were like,
let's just
take off.
A Southwest Airlines flight nearly took off from a Florida taxiway yesterday before an air traffic controller stopped the potentially dangerous departure. The incident involved a flight at Orlando International Airport about 9:30 in the morning. As the plane attempted to depart for Albany, Southwest Airlines said its crew mistook the surface for the nearby runway. No injuries reported. The taxiways, in case you're unfamiliar, are the basically the areas that you use to get from the gate to the runway.
Right.
And they're very different. They're marked, and you don't take off from them. Why? Because there's other traffic in there. They're not controlled by the air traffic controllers for takeoffs, that is. An air traffic controller at the Orlando International Airport canceled the takeoff clearance for Southwest Airlines Flight 3278 after the aircraft began its takeoff roll on a taxiway. The taxiway did run parallel to the runway in this case. The flight was headed to Albany. The FAA is now investigating. So let's see. Federal officials continue to remind Americans that air travel is safe, and it's as safe as it's ever been. Even though there was a mid-air collision near Ronald Reagan Airport, there was an air ambulance that crashed in Philadelphia. There were 10 people aboard a Bering Air Flight 445 who died when their plane crashed on its way to Nome. A Delta Airlines flight from Minneapolis flipped upside down, and a Southwest Airlines private jet nearly collided at Chicago's Midway.
But nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. Nothing is more important to Southwest than the safety of the customers and employees. That's what Southwest Airlines said. Speaking of one of those crashes I just rattled off, the small airplane that crashed off the Alaska coast last month that killed all 10 people aboard was hundreds of pounds overweight before taking off.
Ooh.
That's what the National Transportation Safety Board has now said in a preliminary release. It was a Cessna 208B Grand Caravan aircraft, and it was making a 150-mile trip from points in Alaska to another point in Alaska. It was a regularly scheduled commuter flight. The plane initially was reported missing, but then it was found on a floating ice pack the next day. It had crashed. There was a massive search connected to it, but a post-accident examination of the plane's contents revealed that the baggage and the cargo weighed about 798 pounds, contributing to the plane's overall takeoff weight of 9,865 pounds. The estimated gross weight was about 1,058 pounds over the maximum. 1,058 pounds over the maximum for flights into icy conditions, and more than 800 pounds over the limit for any flight.
Ooh.
Yeah. So anyway, somebody was lying about their weight or something like that. But
so the flight that flipped over?
Yeah. What about that?
They were saying the passengers were left, quote, hanging like bats, unquote. But all 80 on board passengers and crews survived.
Yeah, that was a crazy one.
Yeah.
That was a crazy one. And glad the injuries were limited and everyone survived. Let's see, one more. Let's talk about commerce for a moment. We'll get out of the aircraft for a second. Joann's.
Yeah.
Right, they're closing. What's that?
Go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
No, I just said Bud. I thought you were going to bring there's the good news and the bad news.
Oh, the silver lining?
Yeah.
Not today.
Not on Salty Friday?
Not on Salty Friday. No, the closure of every Joann's store in the U.S. was particularly upsetting for customers with unused gift cards. That's because the company announced they would no longer be accepted at any store, even though they weren't even yet closed.
Uh-oh.
So now you've got the Joann's gift cards. What are you going to do with them? Well, we found out. Yeah, let's see. Following the backlash of everyone who had a gift card that was all of a sudden worthless, or so they thought, Kroll is now allowing, that's the company, is now allowing people with gift cards to file claims before a deadline early next month. If a customer believes the company owes them a certain amount of money, they can file a claim through their website.
Oh.
Yeah, gift card owners may file a claim electronically or submit a hard copy through the mail ahead of the deadline that's set by the bankruptcy court. To file a claim electronically, you just have to enter your name and your email address through an online form, then sign an electronic proof of claim settlement. There's more stuff to deal with through the website there. But if you happen to be one of those people who has a Joann's gift card and you found out Joann's is no longer going to take it because they're going through bankruptcy and closing every store in the United States, you now have recourse.
But what I'm concerned about is they're going to be like, oh, well, send us your card and we'll look at it and we'll get back to you. We have some legal issues.
And you never hear from them again.
Right. Yeah. That's it.
Maybe,
and then there'll be a class action suit because somebody will get online and then you'll get $14.15 back for your $50 gift card.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, so now there's
Not
a process.
to be negative.
There's a process. All right, it's 7:30. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Thank you for joining us. We've got some news, financial news coming up from the Bloomberg folks, and then our latest world and national news from ABC, and our local news as well. It's all coming up right here on WSJM.
Would you call free checking that?
I can't believe you would think that they'd only get pennies on the dollar for gift cards. You know, that just seems, it seems if you're in front of a judge in bankruptcy court and somebody raises the issue, hey, you've got gift cards outstanding. Somebody paid dollars for those gift cards.
Right.
They're sitting there. That's akin to almost like a pot of money.
Yeah, oh, sure. And you've used that money while they held on to a gift card.
Exactly. You should that should just be a standard of you need to make good on that.
Well, and again, I would think it would be at the front of the line for restitution when it comes to selling off assets and things like that.
Do you think they would be legally at the front of the line?
I don't know. I would think so, though. I mean,
who's always at the front of the line? IRS.
Right.
Second at the front of the line, the banks.
Mm-hmm.
Third, what? Employees?
No.
No, they're not there. They're not third.
They're not there.
Oh, yeah.
And probably be bondholders, any bondholders, and then, yep.
Yeah. Okay. What's Nicolaus's favorite food?
Ooh, well, favorite food.
Nicolaus is the 100-year-old. He's officially 102 days.
2 days. Yeah.
100 years, 2 days old.
If you're going to turn any food into a winning plate for him, it's going to have mashed potatoes or some form of potatoes.
Yum.
Man loves potatoes.
You didn't hear this because I talked about it Tuesday morning, or maybe you heard it, but we had mashed potatoes for St. Patrick's Day, and Stephanie dyed them green.
She did?
Yeah, they were delicious.
Oh, that's very nice.
You know, because St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. Green.
Are you wearing green today?
No.
Okay.
No green. Still not wearing green. I wore green yesterday. No, I did. Yeah, I did. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Someday.
Let's see. John says it's his birthday. Happy birthday, John.
I know.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you, dear John.
Happy birthday to you.
It's our reading.
Yes.
Reading of the birthday.
Happy birthday poem.
Oh,
happy
boy.
birthday to you.
Let's see. What else do we have in the news today? Drug overdoses are down, according to the CDC and P.
Well, that's good news.
Yeah, we can talk about that later. We talked about the Federal Reserve earlier this week. You thought Jerome Powell gave a good speech afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
What elements did you appreciate?
Well, I mean, I just think that sometimes, again, many times the market just cascades when Powell speaks because he does these kind of veiled innuendos that just causes more confusion. And I think he was pretty upfront about his concerns about inflation and they don't want to lose a handle on that and kind of, they're not going to lower at this point, but looking potentially to lower it by year end. So I thought it was a very balanced, kind of settling speech.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what, Jerome Powell, the same audiences who were looking at Taylor Swift or Mariah Carey or whatever, or Beyonce or whatever,
right?
They're not the audience. The audience is typically those in the financial sector. Those who are following what's going to happen with interest rates, not today, not tomorrow, but 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, and how do we hedge our bets accordingly based on that? Because you always, at least the old saying is you buy on the rumor, you sell on the fact.
Right.
And so what are you doing in the bond markets? What are you doing with treasuries if the Federal Reserve Chairman is, in this case, Jerome Powell, is saying, we are thinking about cutting rates, but we're looking at this. We're very concerned about the economy. However, there are bright spots.
Right.
So if you don't present a balanced picture, then it's going to feel like it's one-sided and you're gonna topple the market in a certain direction. That can be used to your advantage if you're Jerome Powell. Mm-hmm. But at this point, it sounds very much like he wants to keep things middle of the road and steady and see where it goes.
Well, and I think the challenge with the markets, and certainly with the news media, is things are happening so fast.
Yeah.
Trump is continuing to negotiate all these tariffs. I was on a call yesterday with one of our asset managers, and he was saying one of the challenges that we're having in markets is we've never really used tariffs. I mean, we historically have, but really since several decades ago, have we tariffed people that are bringing goods into the United States. Many of our trade partners tariff us as we're going to their country, but not reciprocating. And we really don't know how that's going to affect us. And so it's a new economic philosophy for us.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I just changed the monitor on our thing so I could know where I'm going. We still hear you.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, I hear Gina Savetti, so.
Yeah, I know.
It was nice for her to say hello to me, but.
WSJM.
See, nobody else in the world heard that. It was just you.
Well, I know, but it was still in my head.
Yeah, I know.
Like so many other voices.
It's 7:36. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me is Mike Weibel. And we were just talking about some of the Federal Reserve stuff. And instead of saying clock to get Mike to stop talking, I just put something in his ear.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Ken.
You're welcome. Yeah. Forecast for today, partly sunny skies, high around 53, southwest winds gusting up to 30 miles per hour. Tonight's forecast, mostly cloudy. Very good chance of evening rain mixing with snow overnight. The low overnight's only supposed to be around 34.
Yeah.
So hopefully that means the roads aren't going to be slippery. We're not going to see much accumulation. It'll probably be something pretty to look at. And the winds are going to gust to 30 miles per hour, so...
And I think that's like yesterday. We had snow, but the wind was blowing so hard that the snow evaporates.
Yeah. It's, Saturday's forecast, we're looking at a chance of rain or snow mix early in the day, then becoming partly sunny, high around 37. Northwest winds still gusting to 25 miles per hour. Sunday, things calm down a little bit, supposedly. Mostly cloudy, a 70% chance of rain and high around 47. But at least the wind has calmed down. So we'll see. Yeah. Monday, as we start the new week, mostly cloudy, 30% chance of rain, snow. We're going to hold that forecast pretty much through Thursday, at least, of next week. Is mostly cloudy and a slim chance of rain, snow mix all week long.
Wind and
well, I don't see the wind, but I do see.
It's going to blow. It's been blowing since November.
It won't stop till July. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Fine. All right. We've got more to talk about here in the WSJM newsroom. We've got, in fact, we've got our Moody on the Market update coming up later this hour, so please tune in for that. We'll continue to talk about some of the things in the news and keep you up to speed on what's happening with local sports. Dave Wolf was coming up with that. But first, let's get a check of ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Heathrow Airport, the busiest in Europe, is closed right now and will be closed until tomorrow after a fire at an electrical substation nearby. London Fire Brigade Deputy Commissioner Jonathan Smith.
Fire involved a transformer comprising of 25,000 litres of cooling oil fully alight. This created a major hazard due to the still live high voltage equipment and the nature of the oil-fueled fire.
Heathrow serves more than 1,300 flights a day. More than 600 have already been canceled today. The NTSB is warning about the safety of a number of bridges in the wake of last year's Key Bridge collapse in Baltimore. They are recommending the owners of 68 bridges in 19 states that are frequented by cargo ships assess vulnerability in the case of a crash. President Trump's Justice Department is due in court today to answer a federal judge's questions about why Venezuelan deportations were carried out. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
Stop making noise.
It's the chair.
Why are you making noise? Did you break the chair?
No, it's just...
Those chairs are expensive, by the way.
No, they're not. So you swapped out my chair for your chair, I think, because you didn't
No. This is the arm is always loose on this one. Yeah, see? I'm right again.
Maybe Dave needs to buy us new chairs.
It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. I'm Ken Lundberg. Here with me is chair-breaking Mike Weibel. Some of the news
just getting pummeled this week.
Some of the news that we're covering this morning. The Berrien County Board of Commissioners has voted to seek refinancing for a South County drain project after complaints that its current interest rate is too high. Basically, it sounds like the county was obligated under a normal market interest rate loan, not using the advantage they have of being a county government entity, which usually gets you a lower interest rate. Anyway, so we'll tell you a little bit more about that story, how much they expect to save. Spoiler alert, it's going to be over $1 million that they save.
Which is pretty awesome.
That's a pretty big amount of money.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll talk about that coming up.
Slam dunk for the new drain commissioner.
At 8 o'clock this morning. Other news that we're following, the Michigan House has approved a $3.1 billion road funding plan drafted by Republicans and supported by a handful of Democrats. Area State Representative Joey Andrews, one of the Democrats, joining Republicans on that road plan. And also a Traverse City man is facing charges of possession of a stolen vehicle, assault on a law enforcement officer, and reckless driving after an incident in South Haven yesterday. It started in the middle of the morning.
In the middle of that windstorm.
At 10:22.
Why would you want to go out and steal a car?
10:22 in the morning. Stole a 2012 GMC Acadia. So we'll tell you about those.
Somebody probably left the keys in that thing.
Fortunately, nobody injured in that. So we'll tell you more about that coming up at 8 o'clock. Right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We've got the latest sports from Dave Wolf coming up in just a moment. But first, let's get the latest from around the state.
The Michigan News Network.
I'm Beth Fisher. Buyouts offered for Stellantis UAW employees, manufacturing facilities, including the Sterling Heights Assembly.
Okay, very good. Everything's back to normal now. Everything's back to normal. That bridge thing, we should probably talk about the bridge thing because it does affect one bridge in Michigan.
Which bridge?
Well, come on. Which one do you think it is?
The Mackinac.
That's only one bridge, yeah. Because everything else is just a big lake.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bridge.
Mackinac could be the bridge over troubled water.
No, the thing we were talking about, or what we've been hearing about in the news, is the National Transportation Safety Board has, they're doing a review of bridge infrastructure in the United States. This is in the wake of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore.
Right.
They got hit by accident by a freighter, a cargo ship. And, I mean, if you remember that video, the ship hits the bridge falls into the water.
Yeah.
And so now they're taking a look at, all right, if you have all of these conditions in place, do you still have you done everything you can to keep the superstructure from falling in? Probably need a review of this because we're seeing some things we don't like. And so that's why they've recommended 68 bridges across 19 states be evaluated to make sure. And then the only bridge that's listed for Michigan is the Mackinac Bridge.
Can you imagine if the Mackinac Bridge fell down?
No. No.
It would be everybody in the UP would be like, it'd be like
Stuck.
Gilligan's Island.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd have to go to Wisconsin.
Yeah. To go to find a Walmart.
Well, there's always Canada. They could go up to Canada.
Yeah. But they won't.
It's so funny to me.
Like us now.
It's so yeah, that's true. It's so funny how we think of the UP as being, and it is, this wilderness, distant wilderness way up in the middle of nowhere. You got that whole country up there.
Yeah.
It's like, what about us?
The backyard of the UP. It's the 51st state.
It'd cost a lot to fence it.
It would.
Yeah.
Game fence. The deer fences would be ridiculous.
Yeah. Let's see. Next hour, just a preview, we will have financial information from Mike Weibel.
Oh, I've heard that guy does pretty well.
He will bring us information from Baird Private Wealth Management around 8:20 this morning. You want to preview any of that?
We're going to talk about taxes.
Oh, timely topic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I do
have a little bit of a public service announcement this morning.
How do we know?
How do we know it's a public service announcement? You'll tell me at the end.
Oh, okay.
So I was thinking as I was driving through a local establishment this morning at 5:30 in the morning, and people were waiting on me, and they were sleepy because it's 5:30 in the morning, and I wished them a good morning, and their appearance and countenance changed when somebody actually encouraged them. And I thought, that's something we should all work on doing every day.
What's that?
Is being an encouragement to somebody, showing appreciation. I think we get so busy. I know I do. I get busy, and before you know it, I've not taken time to see whether I've improved somebody else's day.
Aw, that's very thoughtful.
I look at 52%. Said 52% of Americans feel lonely. 59% of Americans say they don't have a best friend.
Okay.
And 57% of Americans eat meals alone.
How many?
57%.
Wow.
So you think of half the people you meet today are lonely, don't have a best friend, and might eat by themselves when they go home from work. So just showing a little appreciation, smile, eye contact.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
If you did that once a day, if everybody did that once a day, just think how much more friendly of a feeling we would have.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And the batteries in the remote would last a lot longer.
They would. They would. Which is a plus plus. All right, so I'm done.
Okay. Well, that's very nice. Very nice. I like the way that you started that out, talking about wishing somebody a good morning. It can be very simple gestures.
Yeah.
Very simple gestures. Very good. I'm not going to mock that. I'm not going to make fun of that.
Even though you're tempted.
I'm always tempted. I'm always tempted. Let's see. Teresa says, you guys are great. Teresa just made my day.
Oh, Teresa.
I like that. Thank you, Teresa. Let's see. Diane says, sounds like fun.
Oh, we're having fun.
Oh.
It's Salty Friday.
Wait, Diane says, we're supposed to do that where I work, Mike.
What?
We're supposed to do that. Be nice.
Oh, yeah. Be nice is good.
Yeah. I mean, what you were just talking about.
Oh. Yeah,
She says we're supposed to do that.
Yeah, I think well, you can go through like a couple restaurants. I mean, Chick-fil-A is one that's just notorious for doing nice things. They train their people to be very nice. And so when you're going through there, even if you think, well, why did I choose this over someplace else? You like to go places that you feel appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, those people sometimes get all the complaints and the frustration, and you're yelling at your kids, and the dog's eating your French fries, and no one stops to say, "Hey, thanks for being you."
Agree. Let's see. What else?
What else? I did see a podcast this week that was, well, it's an old podcast, a year-old podcast, but the
12 seconds.
The guy's name is Ryan Montgomery, and he's called the Ethical Hacker.
Oh.
So he used to be a bad hacker, and now he spends time hacking websites and social media stuff that are...
Clock. We'll be right back.
It'll still be quite breezy across the area. The clouds will increase this evening, and overnight tonight we're back to cloudy skies and a chance of rain. We eventually drop down to 34. Saturday morning, we see a chance of snow, then sun in the afternoon, but a high of only 37. I'm WSBT 22 Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
How'd that ignoring the clock warning work for you?
Well, it did work out well for me.
Seven,
you just cut me off.
7:48. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We have so much information to share.
Yeah.
We share it not only here on the radio, but on our video live stream. And even then, we run out of time.
Right.
And so I've taken to just saying clock to Mike to have him pipe down.
And
but
now
he's just ignoring that. Now he's just ignoring that altogether. So I'm playing audio games with him. I'm putting different stuff in his ears. You wait. I have more tricks up my sleeve.
I bet you do.
More tricks up my sleeve.
Tricky Ken Lundberg.
We talked about this earlier in the news. We'll get to our Moody on the Market update in just a moment. But we talked about this in the news today. The National Transportation Safety Board recommending 68 bridges across 19 states, including Michigan, be evaluated with a vulnerability assessment to determine their risk of collapse if they're involved in a vessel collision. And this all is coming about because of what happened with the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. And they say over the last 12 months, the NTSB has identified 68 bridges that were built before 1991 that do not have a current vulnerability assessment. The recommendations were issued to 30 owners of the 68 bridges across the country. I guess I'm naive. I didn't know people owned bridges.
I didn't either until you mentioned, we talked about this on Monday?
Remind me.
About the guy who owns the bridge from from Detroit over to Canada. There's a guy who owns it and owns several bridges.
Yeah, I remember the old scam of, hey, I got a bridge to sell.
Right. Well, it's a real thing.
Some of the bridges include the Golden Gate Bridge in California, the Brooklyn Bridge in New York, and also the Sunshine Skyway Bridge in Florida. In Michigan, obviously, the Mackinac Bridge is the one that's listed as part of this needing a vulnerability assessment. In response to the recommendation, for instance, the Golden Gate Bridge folks said Thursday that the Golden Gate Bridge is in full compliance with all state and federal regulations, and that the district has hired a consultant to conduct an assessment of the South Tower fender system structural capacity for ship collisions. And that's really what this assessment, this vulnerability assessment, is about. Is because you take a look at that superstructure, if something mobile runs into something that's supposed to be stationary, you're going to have something happen. Right. But what's in place to help lessen the damage? Do you have the fender system in place? Because right after the Francis Key incident, we had a cargo ship here that got into tight quarters in the St. Joe River.
Right.
And the Amtrak bridge there, the ship ran up against not the pilings of the bridge itself, but the fender system outside of it. And that's what's supposed to happen.
Right.
So that you don't have damage to the structure itself.
That's the word fender.
Fender, the little defender. So anyway, the 68 bridges were divided into two categories: critical, essential, and typical. Those deemed critical essential are those that serve as important links. So I guess we'll have to take a look and confirm which category the Mackinac Bridge is in. But
I hope they don't say it's just typical. It'd be a slight.
Yeah, we're nowhere near a typical bridge. But they say the NTSB says, had the Key Bridge owner, the Maryland Transportation Authority, or MDTA, conducted a vulnerability assessment based on recent vessel traffic as recommended, they would have been aware that the Key Bridge was above the acceptable risk and would have had information to proactively reduce the bridge's risk of collapse and the loss of life, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What this says to me is it's more fodder for the lawyers.
Yes.
To say, maybe our cargo ship did run into your bridge, but you didn't do enough to protect it.
So what about it?
So therefore, we don't owe you as much money as you thought. Because I can imagine that's probably going to be something that plays out for quite some time.
The normal attorney response of, I know you are, but what am I?
I know you are, but what am I? All right. So let's see. It's time for the Moody on the Market update. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today. They are your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. And I know it's springtime. I know it's still snowing, but we must start thinking about blossoms.
Yes.
And Blossom Time.
Oh.
Yeah. The Blossom Time Festival organizers have announced that the Pokagon Band of Potawatomi's Four Winds Casinos they are serving as the official presenting sponsor for the 2025 Blossom Time Grand Floral Parade.
How cool.
Yeah, that is cool. It's taking place as part of the Blossom Time Festival on Saturday, May 10th at 1 p.m. The Blossom Time Festival is the oldest and largest multi-community festival in the state of Michigan.
It is.
Yeah, Anna Abdelnauer, president of Blossom Time Festival, said, "We're delighted to welcome the Pokagon Band of Potawatomi's Four Winds Casinos as our official parade sponsor. Their dedication to supporting the region and promoting Southwest Michigan aligns seamlessly with our unwavering commitment to achieving success for the Grand Floral Parade. This partnership represents a powerful synergy that will undoubtedly propel Blossom Time to new heights." You want to read that full article? It's all posted right there at moodyonthemarket.com. Your Moody on the Market update brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today, your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. It's nice to think about Blossom Time.
It is.
Especially,
and
go ahead.
Shout out to the Abdenauers. They've been involved in Blossom Time in that whole family in many factions.
Yep.
And they're a big part of making sure that tradition continues.
Absolutely. In fact, we've got Anna Abdelnauer, who will be coming into the WSJM studios sometime very soon to be one of my guests.
Oh, you should do it on a day I'm here.
It's not going to happen that way.
Come on. I like Anna.
Anna, you're welcome.
Oh, man.
It's
rough on me today.
7:54. It's the WSJM morning show.
Insurance Management Service is your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and Niles.
All right, go ahead. What were you saying?
I said, Brett.
Sorry, what? Sorry, what were you going to say?
We're going to call our union the BMW.
Oh, no.
Brett Mike Wykowski.
That's
BMW.
funny. That's funny. All right, let's see. I've got to get us ahead, back on track, because Mike talks too much. Clock. All right. Let's see. We've got to do that one.
If I don't talk, I get in trouble. If I talk, I get in trouble.
That's exactly right. That's the way it should be. Let's see. We do that one, that one, that one. Okay.
I wonder if Stephanie feels this way. Does Stephanie feel like she just gets pummeled all weekend?
I'm sure she'll text me right now and say that she, well, I'm not going to even.
Ask her if she'd like to become a union member, because Brett and I are taking applications.
Aw, this is cute. She sent me a picture of us kissing. So there you go.
Sure. Keep her out of the union with love.
She's the best. All right. It's Friday, March 21st. We were thinking about going to Grand Rapids tomorrow.
Oh? What's in Grand Rapids?
Well, I have to pick up a suit.
Oh, that's right. You
for
ordered your suit.
a wedding. I did order my suit. I don't know. I'm a little trepidatious about it. I'll see how it is tomorrow.
You don't like it?
Well, we'll see.
What color is it?
It's kind of a subtle blue.
Okay.
Just your traditional kind of blue suit.
Navy or blue?
I don't really know the difference between those.
Well, navy's darker.
Okay, then it's navy.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's not blazer blue.
Yeah.
But it's not stupid blue either.
Right. No,
either.
I know exactly what you're saying. There are those blue suits that are kind of like the stupid bright blue.
Yeah.
Just
it's
too
not
much.
that. Yeah, it's not that. It's not that.
I have a blue suit that's that. It's not as dark as navy, but it's a couple shades lighter, and I like that color better. It's
okay. And I think I'll be able to use this for other stuff, because I mean, and that's me. I mean, I have I think one black suit. I have a whole bunch of dark charcoal type suits. I think I only have one double-breasted suit. I think I got rid of the rest of them.
Oh yeah, I used to have a bunch.
Yeah.
I like double-breasted suits.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah.
They're fun. You feel like you have an extra layer of armor on.
I actually I had a couple of double-breasted suits back in the day that had the padded shoulders. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, those are good. Those are good. Out of my three sons, all of them have worn ties, and I'm pretty sure they can all, if pressed, can tie a tie.
Oh, that's...
But Samuel, my youngest, is the best at tying tie. Oh, he is. He's only 14, and I don't know.
He just never ceases to impress me.
It's just a natural inclination.
Over and over. He just is all over it. He loves to fish.
Yep.
He does tremendous woodworking.
Yep.
He can injure himself and just keep on going. He plays soccer.
He's in the National Junior Honor Society.
National Junior Honor Society.
Yep. Oh, he's a good kid.
I tell you what, if you teach him to run that board, I think he and I could do a morning show.
That's possible. That's possible. We have time on Sunday mornings.
I'd have to renegotiate my contract.
Oh, boy.
For weekend pay.
Oh, man. No problem.
Yeah, no problem whatsoever.
No problem. All right, it's 7:58. We hope you have a great weekend, and hopefully we have brought a little bit of joy into your lives this morning, including Mike's.
Yeah.
Clock.
Yeah.
All right, we've got to get
poor
back.
Stephanie.
No, we've got another hour of the WSJM Morning Show in store for you, including our financial information, some more news and views. Got a few more things to talk about here in the news. Do you have any lists?
No, I have no list.
No list this morning?
I brought all kinds of other things, and I was just shut down time after time after time. So I've got no lists other than brackets. We have brackets, no lists.
What?
Nothing.
I let you go. Now you don't say anything.
No, I'm done. I clocked myself.
All right. You have a great morning. We got to get back to the show here. It's WSJM.
Lundberg on WSJM.
See how fun that is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
WSJM Morning Show continues. It's the 21st. It's the second official day of spring. The vernal equinox was yesterday. I could feel like the sunshine was going longer yesterday. You?
Did you?
Did you feel it?
I didn't really feel it.
Okay, that's fine. It's 30 degrees and mostly cloudy in Benton Harbor right now, 32 in St. Joseph with mostly cloudy conditions. South Haven is 30 degrees. We've got news coming up from ABC right now. We're going to do our local news from the WSJM newsroom next. Thank you for joining us on the video live stream. We'll say ta-ta for now, but we'll be back on Monday morning with that video live stream.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. All flights into and out of one of the busiest